Man has taken to scrapyards in search of Henry Ford's steel, hopping up engines and ripping body panels off for speed. Violating the streets in the hop-ups, these crazed juveniles are known to most as delinquents, but to a small few, they are hot rodders. Join us as we dive deep into this episode of Four Banger Archives.
The G28T engine was a German-made variant of the Ford BB truck engine, produced during and after World War II by Ford Köln, a branch of the Ford Motor Company, located in Cologne, Germany. It was found to be used in German Ford Ruhr trucks and Claas combines, which were common agricultural vehicles at the time. The G28T's crankshaft was internally drilled for connecting rod oiling, a significant upgrade over splash and gravity oiling. Additionally, the G28T used steel shell insert bearings, replacing the Babbitt bearings found in the Model B. The G28T also features an aluminum oil pan and different connecting rods. Despite these changes, many parts from the Ford Model B engine were interchangeable with the G28T, meaning that the two engines share much of their basic architecture. The Soviet Union's automotive industry began in the early 1930s with the production of Ford-based vehicles under a licensing agreement with the American automaker. The Gorky automobile plant in Russia began producing Ford Model AA trucks using parts from Ford USA starting in 1932. In late 1933, Ford sent engine building equipment and Model A manufacturing machines to the USSR. This helped Gaz start producing vehicles powered by Ford's B engine. This was a unique period for Soviet automotive production, as only a small number of 1934 Ford coupes with B engines were built in 1933. Among the various models produced by Gaz during this era was a Jeep-like vehicle for the Soviet military. These vehicles featured distinctive design elements such as a cowl-mounted gas tank and no fuel pump. The partnership between Ford and the Soviet Union also led to the creation of various Ford-inspired models, with Gaz producing numerous variants of Ford vehicles under license. Parts with a 3M designation most likely represent ZM, Zakhovsky Motorny, a Russian engine manufacturer. In 1931, Ford's new Dagenham plant in Essex began operations, and by the end of 1932, production of Ford tractors was moved there to meet growing demand. The company established the Industrial Unit Department at Dagenham to promote industrial versions of its engines, including the 8-horsepower Model Y, the 14.9 AF and BF, the Model B, and the E98T. In 1932, Ford introduced the Fordson brand, which marked the debut of the Model B engine and the BB 2-ton trucks. The Fordson name was applied to the company's heavier trucks, while the standard Ford label remained for lighter vehicles. By 1939, the Thames brand emerged for cab-over-engine vans and lorries, while conventional trucks continued to carry the Fordson name. The small-bore engines were produced until 1935 and featured a bore of 3 inches and a stroke of 4 1/4. The production of the Model A and AF engines ceased in 1932, coinciding with the introduction of the Model B and BF engines. In Europe, cars were taxed based on engine size, which significantly impacted sales of the Ford Model A. Equipped with a 201 cubic inch engine producing just 40 horsepower, the Model A faced a heavy fiscal horsepower tax in countries like the UK, where it was subject to an annual levy of 24 pounds. This 3-inch bore engine was cast at Ford's Cork, Ireland tractor plant, which had a foundry that the Manchester plant lacked. The final machining and assembly of these engines occurred at the Manchester facility. Known as the AF engine, this version produced 28 horsepower at 2600 RPM. However, it struggled in heavier applications, such as the AA truck. Although the original B engine design would have been used for North American production, the Dagenham plant likely took over production of these engines for the European market, as the demand for the Model BB and its variants grew across Britain and Europe. These engines were produced up until 1940. A special engine, designated E98T, was used in the Fordson Watt 1 6x4 chassis from 1939 to 1941. It features an oil filter system, a unique timing cover, 4-speed transmission, and other specialized upgrades. It was exclusively used in the Watt 1, which was employed by the Royal Air Force for towing and general transport. The Ford Diamond blocks were produced between 1932 and 1941 and were distinguished by a diamond casting mark on the right side of the engine, right above the timing cover. Some blocks also feature a raised imprint of a date tag located just below the valve cover. This date tag was an imprint left by a tag attached to the foundry mold during the casting process, marking the block's manufacturing date. Beginning in August 1932, all complete Model A service blocks were fitted with Model B camshafts, push rods, and tappets, an upgrade that continued with the Diamond block production. Later Diamond blocks also feature factory-installed hardened steel valve seats for exhaust valves.